Well, in case you were wondering, the time slot that Tucker Carlson used to fill in the Fox News kind of lineup is still bonkers, okay? They didn't replace Tucker Carlson with some reasonable news anchor, as I'm sure you could have predicted. And I actually missed some of this. I've seen it covered a little bit, but I missed that Harris Faulkner, or I haven't covered it yet, has been filling in during this time slot. It's now called Fox News Tonight, where Tucker Carlson used to have his show. Now he's doing his Twitter show, as we covered on yesterday's show. And Harris Faulkner is something else, I gotta tell you. And all this is a disaster. The ratings are a disaster ever since Tucker Carlson left over at Fox News in comparison to what they used to see. And some really, this is not the most intellectual language, but the way I would phrase the vibe I've been getting from all of this is obviously normally conspiratorial and not fact-based and often dishonest and dangerous and all that, but just Harris Faulkner specifically, odd vibes were coming from this whole monologue from one of her recent nights filling in. So I'm just going to give you a few bits from it, okay? Let's just walk through, get a sense. What would we have seen if we tuned into Fox News Tonight with Harris Faulkner?
Take a look around at what's going on. The devil has gotten into some people. And the worst part of experiencing our country ripping at the seams is that our enemies are massing, feasting on the tastiness of our weaknesses. For one, look at our president. Take a...
Okay. So there's that. We'll get to one substantive point that she makes besides just the kind of quick moments we'll look at for the fun of it. But it is wild that still Fox News is the most watched cable news network. And so many people think this, the second half of their name, news, is actually news.
When people say, I'm going to tell my truth, I always wonder what that means. Because there's only one truth. There's correct. Your perception of maybe what it is. But you're not entitled to your own facts, your own history.
That's right.
Wow. Isn't that interesting coming from someone on the network who's literally filling in for a guy who, and multiple people on this network were found to have behind the scenes recognized their own lies as they were going on air and spreading lies about such a crucial part of our democracy, our elections, and our election systems. And they acknowledged that one truth that you're talking about was something other than what was being put out on the Fox News airwaves. But Harris Faulkner's not interested in that. And also, just quickly, I know that was a random point, but the speak your truth is not saying that everyone should have their own perception of what is true about reality. It's that often based on the societal structures we set up or the social dynamics that we exist in, we choose not to tell what is the truth within ourselves, about ourselves, because of fear of retribution or of judgment or whatever. So often it's kind of, I know y'all know this, but I'm just explaining to Harris Faulkner. It's not speak your truth like you can decide if the sky is blue or green or red. No, it's up to you. It's speak your truth like say what is true even when society pushes against that or certain people around you push against that or whatever it might be. So there's a little lesson on that one. And then you have this, just a mic drop moment for Harris Faulkner.
Step from woke to being awake is what you're talking about.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. And then the one substantive thing I mentioned where she just lies about the 1918 pandemic.
We sacrifice and then we move on through our bravery toward freedom over and over. And sometimes we make dangerously bad decisions like pandemic lockdowns and keeping our own children home from schools when a virus was hurting them far less often than adults. You know, we didn't actually close...
And this is, as you can tell by her outfit, from a different night, I guess.
...schools in 1918 during the Spanish flu pandemic. We didn't even have penicillin.
Sorry, I kind of was talking over the key part. 1 second.
You know, we didn't actually close schools in 1918 during the Spanish flu pandemic. We didn't even have penicillin back then. We did sacrifice, we suffered, but then we pressed on. Our enemies hate us for surviving. but they would love to be like us.
But you're sort of a part of the movement that's advocating for us not to survive. That's the point. Just sacrificing as many people as possible to a pandemic is not necessarily the way that we bravely push forward and make our enemies shudder. But it's just not factually correct. We did shut down schools, as she said confidently that we didn't during the 1918 pandemic, or as Trump called it, the 1917 Spanish flu. He would always say the wrong thing, never got corrected for some reason. But there it is. That's what's been going on in the Tucker Carlson time slot. Pretty bizarre. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.